Have you ever been about to do something or apply for a job or approach someone to ask for their number, but then you just had this crippling fear of anxiety, this feeling of what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't pan out? What if, I get embarrassed and then I'm going to feel bad and then so many people are going to see me? That's really just you essentially talking your way out of success because we spend so much time suffering in our head when really nothing bad has happened in reality. But we've already created a million scenarios of what if this goes badly, or what if this doesn't pan out, what if that doesn't pan out. And when it doesn't pan out the way I wanted, I'm going to be so disappointed, and my family's going to be disappointed in me, or my homies are going to laugh at me. So many of us fall into this mindset, this trap, time after time. And one of the sayings that I thought about was, if we keep running away from success, how's success ever supposed to find you or catch up to you? Because it's like we're playing hide and go seek with success and we're winning because the same job, the same, med school, the same person that you're thinking about approaching, by not approaching them, you've already defeated yourself. And so by not approaching them or by not trying for that thing, you're just affirming your own belief and you've essentially just defeated yourself. And so people tend to think, okay, well, if this thing's going to be really embarrassing and I don't do it, I didn't get embarrassed, so I won. Or no one saw me, quote unquote, take the L, so I won. But in reality, you lost because there's no shame, there's no such thing as losing by trying to do something, because ultimately everything is a lesson. And even if you try to get that job or try to get that thing and it turns out that you don't get it, you can always get better. You can always go back to the drawing board and see, okay, well, what qualification was I missing? Maybe I didn't interview as strongly as I would have thought. And maybe I'm going to do more practice in terms of interviewing. But now this mindset is more constructive. And so that's why we tend to just defeat ourselves more in our head, because I saw this quote that said we suffer way more in our heads than we do in reality. And it's just so true because when we tell ourselves these things, it really just acts as like a standstill. And it really keeps us from pursuing our goals and pursuing the things that we really ultimately want to do in the end. And so that's one of the most important things, is getting out of our head so that way we can really start putting ourselves in position to accomplish what we're meant to. And so I remember when I was applying to dental school, I was telling myself, like, oh no, well, what if I don't get in? And what if this goes badly? And what if this person sees me? Or, what if I tank the interview? But then once I got in, I was like, oh wow, like that wasn't so bad. And if I never tried, I never would have known what I was actually capable of doing. And so it was just one of those initial lessons for me that kind of happened. And I was like, oh, okay, like that wasn't so scary after all. And the other thing that's important to keep in mind is whether you try to do something or whether you're thinking about trying or not doing something, everything is difficult. So trying to do something new is difficult because you're nervous. There's that thought of what if you're not very good at it. But at the same time, not doing it is difficult as well, because now you're thinking about, oh, well, what if I would have tried to do that thing? And what if I would have been really good at it? And so you're kind of living with that fear of regret. And that's a really tough feeling to live with, also. But then at the same time, if, you don't act on it, that's difficult. And so at that point, when you look at it, when you really think about it, you just realize that it's better to just go ahead and do that thing anyway. And if that means that it doesn't turn out the way you wanted to or you wanted it to, you can always improve and you can always get better. And that's how I look at even recording these YouTube videos. I feel like before I'd get super nervous and I'd really get in my head and I would think, oh, well, what if someone sees this and they judge me and they think about, oh, how I'm not good talking to the camera. But then I also realized that, hold on, if I never record, if I never do this in the first place, I'm never even going to be in the position to get better. And I can tell you guys right now that recording this video, I've gotten so much better at talking to the camera than I was 3 years or 4 years ago, where I would get so nervous because I would think, oh, well, it's awkward because there's no one else here. And it's just me kind of talking through this stream of consciousness. And then in my head, I'd be thinking, oh, well, what if someone I know happens to see this video, and what will they think of me? Will they think I'm a good YouTuber, I'm good at talking to the camera, or will they just think that I'm awkward and I'm wasting my time? But all of these thoughts that I was having, that I was battling with, they also start to go away with time the more that you do something. Because you have to think about, whenever I'm even watching sports, I used to always watch and think, man, like these guys must get so nervous going out there and playing in front of 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people. And I'm sure at first, of course, you get the jitters and you get afraid because you're afraid of, oh, well, what if I drop this pass, or what if I don't throw the most accurate pass? But then as time goes on, of course, you still get adrenaline, you still get a little bit of nerves. But the more that you do it, the more that you start to also just trust yourself because you know how to operate under those conditions. And that's how I think with me, even recording these videos, it relates as well. Because the more I got out of my head and stopped looking at recording as this thing that I had to execute perfectly, that had to be flawless, I had to appear a certain way, and I just started looking at it as, okay, I just want to record and talk to everybody and share these thoughts that I'm having that I know can benefit people. As long as I know where my heart is, where my intentions are, and I know that in this message, I'm going to be able to impact people regardless of the presentation, regardless of whether I use this word or that word. And I stopped getting in my head. I started to see the bigger picture. And I started to understand that, okay, sometimes it's not about being perfect, it's just about starting. Because I also saw this quote that said, you don't have to be perfect to start, but you have to start to get perfect. So you don't have to be flawless to start recording videos, but in order to continue to get better and to continue to improve, you have to start the whole process. You have to get in front of the camera, even though you might not want to. You have to put yourself in position to ask people on dates to get better at it, because there's no way to truly simulate that action without actually doing it. And so by doing it, the more reps you build, the more times that you do it, the more you start to get more and more comfortable. And so, yeah, you guys, I wanted to record this video just talking about how we tend to defeat ourselves and we tend to just become afraid of success, when ultimately we need to not be afraid of success, not be afraid of failure, but if anything, we need to be afraid of not trying, because it's in trying that we put ourselves in the best position to succeed. If it doesn't happen in the immediate future, it can happen in the near future or sometimes in the distant future. But even that success happening in the distant future can never happen if you don't try today. And so, yeah, you guys, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys did, please drop a comment below, and also like, comment, subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. And I'll talk to all you guys in the next one.